以上をもちまして、ダライラマ法をご進修。法皇様が経座にお付きになりました。
Brothers and sisters, and particularly those people who lost one of their dear friend or relatives. So the main purpose coming here, share your deep sorrow, pains or suffering. We are human brothers. Broadly speaking, nearly 7 billion human beings. Basically, we are same human brothers, sisters. So I think, although the tragedy took place here, but I think many parts of the world, as soon as they heard is in this situation, I think some feeling as a human being, as a human brothers and sisters. So you are not just alone. I myself, as soon as I heard this tragedy through BBC, as the news, I immediately felt, how much painful experience. I immediately felt, and then as a human brother, and secondly, Japanese, basically Buddhist. Japan is a Buddhist country. And me personally also, since I think 1967, I had opportunity to visit Japan number of occasions. So I have many Japanese friends. So I immediately felt, if possible, I would like to go there and share their sorrow, their sadness. So my visit America through Japan, end of April, I stopped a few more days in Tokyo, and there an opportunity to pray and express my deep feeling. Still, I am not satisfied. I want to visit the actual place where this disaster took place. So now I came here. My dream fulfilled.
25th September, that is Tuesday, 10th day of the 8th lunar month. And this day's elemental combination is earth and fire. So it's an inauspicious combination, hence doing of activities related to fire, such as burning, doing sangsul, fire rituals are not good on these days. And avoid doing therapies like bloodletting, moxibustion, and surgeries because of sekte. Starting of new assignments and holding public meetings should also be avoided on this day. Moreover, Lord of the Earth or Sata Sinpung is also present in this day, so undertaking journey or starting important work from east to west direction during midday is not good. Pumdong is at east direction, so important activities should not be done while facing to the east. 26th September, that is Wednesday, 11th day of the 8th lunar month. And this day's elemental combination is earth and water. So it's a good combination. And raising up prayer flags, making of statues, paying offering for root gurus, and wearing of new ornaments. Good to start preaching or listening of teaching, starting of new home, making new monastery and statues are good this day. However, this is not a good day to invite guests at home. Pumdong is at east direction, so important activities should not be done while facing to the east. 27th September, that is Thursday, 12th day of the 8th lunar month. And elemental combination is water and wind. So it's a bad combination which has incompatible energy to separate loved ones, and it brings disharmony. So don't believe in rumors and gossips, and cope well with your friends and relatives to prevent separation from them. This day is also inauspicious for starting a business or engage in important business assignments. From this day onwards, Sun enters the Virgo till 12th lunar day of next month. So from this day, Pumdong or empty verse will be at south direction. So important activities should not be done while facing to the south.
So we have gathered here for a discourse on the teaching of the Buddha, and the text we are going to use is Shantideva's Bodhisattvacharya Avatara, or Guide to the Bodhisattva Way of Life. So while you take your tea and bread, I will continue teaching. So Buddhism originated in India over 2,500, nearly 2,600 years ago, when the Buddha gave the sermons. So now we are in the 21st century. So in the last 2,000 to 3,000 years, there have been many different religious traditions, the major religious traditions, many of which exist even today in this world, serving many people, giving them hope. So religion, generally, is a means which human beings, when they meet with problems and difficulties, the religions become something source of hope. And therefore, in the religions, there is a mention of a higher being who the followers take refuge in, who are greater than the followers themselves. So within this, the religions, there are those religions in which people sought refuge in the spirits and others, believing that they will help them out of the problems and difficulties. Now, from amongst the different religions, those which have the philosophical background, not only so the oldest religious tradition with philosophical background may be Sankhya school within Hinduism. So this may have appeared around over 3,000 years ago. And similarly, in Egypt, there has been a religion which is over 4,000 years. And then in China also, there may have been some religious tradition that old. But most of the religions with philosophical backgrounds, I think, spread or evolved in India. And so amongst this, nearly 2,600 years ago, Buddhism appeared, and also Jainism, which was started by Mahavir, came into being in India. And then in Arab regions, the Judaism is Christianity, and Islam originated. And in ancient Iran, there was this religion called Persian religion, called Zoroastrianism. So today in India, all these major religions of the world exist. In India, there are homegrown religions, such as Sankhya school, and so from Sankhya down to Sankhya and other non-Buddhist traditions, as well as Buddhism, Jainism, and Sikhism. So these religions are homegrown in India. And then Zoroastrianism, or Christianity, Judaism, Islam, these came from outside of India into India. And so, in other words, all these major religions of the world today exist in India. So if we do some analysis or investigation, the Parsi in India, the population of Parsis who follow Zoroastrianism is very small. So the population is very small. Maybe it's around 100,000 or 70,000 or so. But they live in India very peacefully, harmoniously, and nobody bullies them in India. But sometimes it so happens in India, because of authority, power struggle, and financial, economic struggle, then some problems happen here and there in India. But generally speaking, in India, all these major religious traditions of the world live very, really harmoniously. So although we are in the 21st century, but the major religious traditions, in spite of being in the 21st century, all these major religions of the world are helping people, humanity. So nearly 7 billion people in the world do not want, everyone is same in that no one wants suffering, but everyone wants happiness. So I usually say that I divide the 7 billion people in this world into 3 categories. One group is those believers in religion, and the second group do not believe in any religion, even say that religion is a means to exploit others. And then there is a third group, which is rather neutral to religion. They are not against religion. So, of the 7 billion people in this world, the majority of the people, although there are people who claim themselves to be followers of this religion or that religion, but they are not really sincere about what these religions teach. So all these 3 groups of people are same in that they want happiness and not suffering. So if we investigate those who say that religion is no use, so amongst them there are those who even while saying that religion is no use, they even don't pay attention to, they neglect the moral values as well, like love, compassion, honesty, and so forth. So when you live a life in that way, without believing in the moral principles, then you are not happy as well. And then amongst those followers, believers, for example, the followers of theistic religions, they would think that, of course, if I do something immoral, it is against the will of God, and therefore they restrain themselves, refrain from committing non-virtuous actions or immorality. So all these major religions of the world teach us to be honest, to be loving and compassionate to others. And therefore, if you follow your own religion, whichever religion you're following, if you believe in it and practice them, then it seems those people are happier. I have friends who are Christians, Muslims and Jews. So I have very good, genuine practitioners of these religions who are my friends. So when you look at them, you find them to be very peaceful, calm, and even in the midst of troubles and difficulties, they are not moved so much or disturbed so much. So that shows that the religion helps them. So what is the purpose of religion? Is to give us happiness. So even Buddhism teaches us the means to reach higher rebirth, which is a temporary goal, and then ultimate goal is that of nirvana, enlightenment, and enlightenment, Buddhahood. Now, in order to obtain a higher rebirth in the next life, what we need to do is we have to use this life properly, correctly, because this life that we have now as human beings is also a higher form of life. So having this form of life, if we live our life like animals, only indulging in all kinds of emotional reactions with attachment and anger, then it's no use. So you have to make a difference between you and animals to make this life a higher rebirth. So you should not indulge in rely only on the sensory perceptions, experiences that are derived from sensory perceptions alone, but you have to try to derive experiences based on the mind. So all these pains in the mind do not happen in the sensory perceptions, but it happens in the mind, the sixth sense. So what makes our mind unruly, undisciplined, and disturbed is are those of attachment, hatred, and ignorance. So if you can actually use your mind to overcome these delusions, afflictive thoughts and emotions, then you'll make yourself rather better than animals. So the animals cannot use their mind much. They only rely on their sensory perceptions, more or less. And they can't make judgments using their mind. So with regard to the theistic religions, the followers of them should be, if they are compassionate and helping others, human beings, of course. And then in the next, after death, they talk about reaching heaven. So what this shows is that even their goal is happiness. So religions are meant for cultivating happiness. So with regard to happiness, there are many degrees, some immediate or temporary, and then the ultimate happiness. So since we have the wish to be happy, therefore we also have this aspiration to reach nirvana. Otherwise it cannot happen. So even animals try to avoid and be free from dangers and suffering. So because they know that suffering is not good for them, they try to avoid it or to overcome it. So this very life is also for happiness. So if there is somebody who is really unhappy and has lost all hope and very unhappy, so that's actually it's very negative to the person to shorten his or her life. And then there are people who take to drinking alcohol and drugs, And in the worst case scenario, people even go to the length of committing suicide. So we can say that this life is meant to live happily. So religion is meant for happiness, and also economic development and progress is meant for happiness.